Saturday was bittersweet in downtown Newhall, where the Newhall Hardware sign has come down. Friends and family gathered at a wake to reminisce about a downtown icon that served the community for over 60 years.
Newhall Hardware is probably one of the best hardware stores, true hardware stores, still in existence, because today they're still in existence. Tomorrow they won't be. They've been here a long time. They have the things that the contractors need. They are a service to the community. They have been a benefit to everyone in this town, whether they know it or not.
I've done business in here since 1958, and the one thing about Newhall Hardware was if you needed something, they had it. Might not be out there where you could see it, but you just asked for it, and they'd found it.
It's been a real pleasure having it here. It's helped us out. When I was involved with Newhall Electric, many times we were in here finding the right bolts for those rides at Magic Mountain, and this was the only place we could count on getting what we needed.
In the 37 years I've been here, I probably came down here, Christ only knows how many times, and I think maybe 3 times they didn't have what I needed.
I don't know what this valley's going to do without Newhall Hardware. Because Lowe's, Home Depot, if you went in there looking for something, they'd always say, go to Newhall Hardware.
What made you get into the hardware business?
I liked hardware. Went to work when I was in high school at Holiday Hardware, putting bicycles together. And here I am today.
And one day you just wanted to own your own business?
Yeah, I worked for Holiday for almost 6 years and went from being manager at one of their stores to working here at Newhall Hardware for Don Guglielmino. Don was a pretty unique guy. He was very intelligent. He had a memory that wouldn't quit, had a big heart for people that needed help. He was very generous. If he didn't think you needed the help, you wouldn't get a dime out of him. He was very tough, very demanding. He got an awful lot out of his employees just using psychology and going right to the edge, pushing you as far as he could before you'd break. And then he'd step back just a little bit.
Don G was a great guy. He's a pretty generous man, but he was very conservative and made everybody toe the line. I thought the world of him. Sorry to see him go. You know, guys like that, they don't come along too often.
Don G. I called him Doc. Him and I got along good, and he was just a nice guy. And Victor was just as nice. You had to be nice to work here.
I worked here for 3 years. Yeah, from 95 to 98. After I retired. I was a counselor at Placerita for 24 years and a teacher for 10.
Can you give us some thoughts about how the store worked alongside with the Spanish community here locally?
Well, I think that was one of the things that I was hired for, because I was able to deal with those that came in and didn't know how to speak English. So they enjoyed coming in here. Yep, I think it served them well.
I started here 30 years ago. It was supposed to be a part-time. Mel McSpadden was the one that hired me because he needed somebody that spoke Spanish. I spoke a little bit, enough to get by. And as working here with a lot of the Hispanic people, I've learned to speak a lot better now. And it's like home to me. It's really sad. I'm probably going to cry. Because I enjoy helping people, and going to miss all the people that come in here. They're all so wonderful. You can tell by today how giving the people are in this community and how they're going to miss the store. My son Richard, who was born very sick, spent like 9 months at UCLA, and Don let me come here and work and go back and forth, pay me my salary. I mean, it's just home here. My eldest, Brandon, worked here during the summertime and during school. He'd help with the different chores and painting and sweeping and getting in trouble. And then Richard started working here actually working and getting paid 9 years ago. And it's been wonderful for him because he's deaf And the people have been so wonderful. He's able to use this language, and the people are very respectful for him, and everybody just loves him. So this is very sad for him too. He'll have to go out and get a job, and I know he'll do very well because of the store, because of the experience and stuff that he had here.
Any plans on what you're going to be doing, what you would like to do?
Right now, it's the main thing is closing the hardware store, and I've been offered several jobs. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll end up going to one of the big box stores. I'm not sure yet, because I love hardware. I like working. I like solving problems and helping people.
You know what? Diane was always great. She always supported my daughter, who's a Girl Scout. I mean, so a lot of the times when you saw the Girl Scout cookies here, those were my daughters. Same thing with the Boy Scouts. You know, they were, you know, they were always willing to help the community. That was, you know, it went beyond just the shop. You know, they were your friends, and if you needed help, no matter what it was, they were there for you.
I've been coming here about 45 years. I think if you look at what made it a success, if you boil it down, it was knowledge, inventory, and service.
I came over here the afternoon of the earthquake, and the store was already open. You came up to the front door, you came to the back door, and there was a table across the doorway, and you placed your order. And they would go in, the rubble in here, you know, the shelving was down, stuff was all over the floor, and they would pick out what you needed, what you asked for, bring it to the front or to the rear, and tell you how much it cost. And if you didn't have any money, they would just write it down on a little piece of paper and put it in a box. Some months later, it would all get straightened out.
We made sure that we made an attempt to get the community what they needed. We took cash, check, charges. It didn't matter. You know, we believe in supporting the community, and we didn't feel that anybody's going to stiff us. Take a bad check or a credit card that you couldn't run, and you know what? We didn't.
Why did you decide that this is the time to close the store?
I didn't decide that this was the time to close the store. I ran out of money. I'm broke. We closed the store because we couldn't pay our rent anymore. We worked for 10 years to keep this place open, worked very hard to get redevelopment to take hold, try to bring more people down here, get more shoppers down in this area. I knew that if redevelopment didn't take hold, that this store wouldn't be here. So I was very active in all of the things to make that happen, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen in time to save this place.
I'm just sorry that this had to happen. I wish that some way somebody could have helped out and made it a little easier for him. And I know that the parking was his biggest thing, and he's been saying it. I know, I heard 10 years, and nobody really listened to what his thoughts were. And I think that's one of the reasons why he had to close, because he doesn't get, when they finally put parallel parking, it helped, but it wasn't soon enough.
Your theme, I see that it's awake. Can you tell us a little bit about the black balloons, the coffin up front?
Well, I think it denotes what we're losing here. A little bit of the history is going away, and it ain't coming back. It's gone forever. You know, as much as you'd like to have it here, as much as you'd like to have that uncle that passed away, he's gone. I mean, that's what this is about. It really is. This is making a little bit of a lightheartedness about it, but it is sad. There's a tremendous amount of history, memories in this store that will be gone forever now. The area codes have changed several times. The phone numbers have changed. Our address has changed from 724 Spruce to 24322 San Fernando Road, and today it's 24322 Main Street. So this store, it shows you the amount of change that's happened here, but we haven't. I mean, we were the one constant here in the Santa Clarita Valley. Maybe that was part of the problem. I don't know.
I came here in '67. My late husband was a construction worker, and we came here to work on the dam out there. And this is one of the first places I saw after we got here. We're in and out of here all the time, both for his company and for us. He was a fix-it type person like Tim is. And I just gonna miss it.
What were your thoughts about walking in here today with the wake theme and everything?
Oh, it's weird. It's strange. I mean, I'm glad he did it. It's, maybe people will, I don't know, maybe something good can become of it. Business is hard for everybody. Every year it seems like it gets harder and harder, and more regulations, more rules, and the margins are getting smaller and smaller. Hopefully we won't be coming to Newhall Paint Store's wake in the next few years.
The redevelopment of downtown Newhall has been kicked around for 60 some odd years. There was a time in downtown Newhall that all of downtown was owned by probably 6 or 7 people total. And even then you couldn't get the majority to agree on what to do with downtown Newhall, okay? And the original, let's say, design of downtown Newhall is right along there in the glass cases. That's the 3.5 blocks of downtown Newhall, both sides of the street, every single address, which was drawn to be a western town, something in the theme of Olvera Street. And it was to be, because this is a western movie town, it was to be a complete big western movie set, but a working set. In other words, all of the shops and stores would be legitimate. And they were bought and paid for, I believe, in 1946, and we're still waiting.
No one can take Newhall Hardware's place. I'm hoping, though, that with the streetscape coming up and so forth, and it's really going to look nice once the streetscape is done. So I'm really hoping that the mom and pops of the valley will decide to come down here and open up and really make the place even flourish even more.
All the merchants in Newhall want to have the streetscape done all at once, even though the city says they don't have the money. We really need to do it all at once, otherwise we're going to have more Newhall Hardwares going out of business.
The thing people have to understand here in town is this is a 30-year plan. It's not going to happen overnight. The city isn't going to make it happen overnight. The development's going to take a long, long time. And there's a lot of things that are going to change. A lot of heartaches are going to happen, but sooner or later it'll happen. They set a good plan in place, and I think that our city fathers are leading us along the right way, and we'll get her done.
I had a dream, and I fulfilled that dream. I bought the store in '98, almost 10 years. So that's a lot of people don't even get that. So, even though we weren't able to continue, I still feel very fortunate to have gotten what I did. Friends, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, buddy, okay? So stay in touch, okay? I'll help you out, okay?
For SCV TV, I'm Michael Bicelli.